Hello and welcome to United for Good. I'm Margaret O'Neill with the United Way of Central West Virginia. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We want to start out our show, as always, by sending our great thanks to the Library Television Network and the West Virginia Library Commission for allowing us to be part of their programming. I also want to say happy spring, as we have made it through some tumultuous weather in the last couple of weeks, and we're so glad to be with you today. So before I introduce my guest, as always, just want to give you a little reminder about what the United Way is in case you're flipping through and this is the first time you've ever heard about us. Our United Way serves 6 counties here in Central West Virginia. We're in Kanawha, Putnam, Boone, Logan, Clay, and Braxton, truly the heart of Central West Virginia. And by serve, that's exactly what we hope to do. We partner with 37 nonprofit programs that impact folks within health, education, financial stability, or those ever important safety nets where we worry about housing and food insecurity and shelters and the things that can sometimes be our own personal crisis and how we can help with those things. So that's what the United Way does. On top of that, we promote something called West Virginia 211. It is West Virginia's information and referral number. People can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Holidays, doesn't matter. And the questions that you might call when you ask, or might ask when you call 211 would be things like, I'm not sure where the closest food pantry is to me and I'm really struggling to try to get food for my family. Or I'm doing pretty good, but I need some direction on where I can find child care or some reduced child care services. Or we still get a lot of calls asking about where our local health departments are and how people can receive tests or vaccines related to various different things. And so if you're in that situation and you hear us and you think, gosh, maybe I could use a little resources for one of those things, wherever you are, just pick up the phone, dial 211. You're going to get a real person after we ask for your zip code. And from that point forward, they're going to give you resources 3 or 4 at a time until we're able to meet your need and make sure that you're back into a better situation than you were when you called. So that's the United Way. That's West Virginia 211. Now you get to hear about all the fun stuff and meet my wonderful guest today. He's one of my very favorite people in the whole wide world, Mr. Bob Barnett. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So good to be here. I'm excited.
I know you're gonna react to my enthusiasm before it's over with. But Bob, when I first came to Charleston 7 years ago now, and we started talking about events and who handles the behind the scenes stuff of events, which are really most of the time the most important. Do the mics work? Do the lights work? Do we have a speaker that works? All those important things. And somebody said to me, well, you need ATR. Right? I got to get them in the right order. Yeah. And I'm like, ATR, I don't know what that is. And so it was American Technology Rentals, and my first endeavor to meet Bob Barnett almost 7 years ago now. And I'll forever be grateful that you're the one I met, and can't thank you enough for the great work that you do for the United Way. But welcome to United for Good.
I'll never forget that first meeting.
Don't say bad things about me on television.
Never. It was very interesting. And we absolutely love working with you and your staff, and we love what you do for the community. So,
thank you.
It's a great opportunity to work with you and sponsor and help promote you and your organization. And anything we can do to help is what we want to do.
Have you learned a little about the United Way spending some time with us?
We have learned a ton. I had no idea the outreach and the links that you and your staff go to truly help people. And that means a lot to me personally and the culture of our company as well.
Because we learned that right away, right?
Yes.
We have similar cultures.
Yes.
So we're going to get into some of the things you've done for us. I want to particularly, not because I love it, but because it's important to go back a little bit to COVID years when we were trying to figure out how to do stuff. But before we do that, you're the founder of ATR. Your staff is wonderful. But tell us a little bit about your company and when you started your company and some of the growth that you've seen since you've been doing this.
Well, yeah, thank you. The beginning was pretty humble. We started it as a branch for a larger organization, larger company, and I started it, and it grew pretty quickly, and my wife and I decided to purchase that branch from the company, and we made it its standalone company.
How long ago was that?
That was in 2006.
Oh, gosh.
So it's been quite a while.
Almost 20 years.
Yes.
That's
yes,
exciting.
almost 20 years ago. And then right before COVID, we sold to the employees. And of course, I stayed on as consultant and CEO, and I'm still there because I love it.
Yes.
And the new young fellows are doing great. Very proud of them. But yeah, it's been an interesting blessing for sure.
And you have a wonderful family. We talk about Beth, and Beth makes cake balls, which are wonderful and delicious. And so you should like her on Facebook. Does she have her own Facebook page?
Yeah, Beth's Cake Ball Creations. Beth's Cake Ball Creations.
So like Beth's Cake Ball Creations, you need cake balls for parties or whatever. They're delicious. We've had them many times. Or if you need them for a fundraiser, we've actually purchased from her and resold to others. So you can do that. And then your beautiful daughter who got you in the coffee business.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we love that part.
Yes, Rachel's coffee business has really taken off, and she is pretty incredible at it. Not because she's my daughter, but I literally had a cup of coffee that she made for me this morning.
Are you
as I
roasting
was
in your
coming
garage? Is it something
No,
like
she
that?
started her own. I mean, we have built her out a new roastery that is now
Nice.
FDA approved for manufacturing, and she is licensed for wholesale, retail, and on-site catering.
So if folks are listening and you're like us, she can create coffee for your brand.
Yes.
She can create coffee for your event. If you're having a conference or you're having something special and you want people to feel a little special, you can get in touch with Rachel. And how do they find her?
Bean Theory LLC.
B-E-A-N.
B-E-A-N.
Bean Theory LLC. So we got the whole family covered.
Got the whole family covered.
And that's really special.
Except for my grandpuppy,
Oh, gosh.
Kona.
Kona.
I got it.
The
I
coffee.
got to mention
Oh, my
Kona,
gosh.
the grand dog. So.
I love that. You know we love our animals, so I love that. Yeah. So I guess we'll start with dancing because that's really how and why we met, right? Mm-hmm. So we have this big event, Dancing with the Stars. You'll see mirror balls in front of us. That's coming up June the 7th. This will be our third year. It was produced previously by the West Virginia Symphony League. They let that project go for a while and were graciously kind enough to say if the United Way wanted to do it, they would get behind us. And so 3 years ago, and actually 4 years ago is when we started talking about it, just before COVID happened. And we had some couples ready to dance, and we started talking to Bob about production. And so they do, and I don't know that people realize, the event itself is on Friday night. You would typically start bringing stuff in on Tuesday.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And that includes, just talk about some of the, you can say all the things, I don't know what they're called.
The setup and the behind the scenes stuff is really interesting, but it includes everything from the concert audio system all the way to the lights and the mirror balls and parts of the decorations, the cameras, the recording, everything comes in. So we basically just build an entire Hollywood studio in the ballroom for the production.
And it's amazing. And so for us, we're a little bit of a difficult customer, and that's what he was talking about. I might be a little bit demanding and have expectations that are a little hard to achieve sometimes.
That's why we love it.
However, it is a challenge that we give you, and they have yet to not meet the challenge. But I mean, it really is a production. People come on that night and they go, oh my gosh, dancing was great, and it's 3 hours and it's done. They miss all of the load in that took 5 hours or more.
2 days.
Yeah, all of the climbing in the rafters, hanging that, and then the sound checks that are lengthy to make sure that all the music sounds great and all the mics are great and that all of our dancers have the production they want. So they actually meet with you and share their wants and wish list with you. Give
That's
them
right.
an example of some of the things dancers
That is, and honestly, that's one of the highlights for me. I really enjoy meeting with them the first time and seeing the excitement in their eyes and actually all over their body. They really get into this and they love it. And the creativity that they have is. We usually have to dial it back just a little bit.
Just a little. When they talk bubbles and fog machines, we're like, oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, for safety reasons and stuff. But there are some limitations. But man, it's so exciting and it's so fun to work with them and work with their lighting cues and their audio cues and where they're going to be on the dance floor, and we got to hit them with the spotlight and those type things and all the fine details of the production. That's what we do, and that's why I've done this for so long, is because I enjoy that. I love that part. But then to do it for such a an important reason. And to see all of them so excited about that reason. It's just a huge team effort, and we're really honored to be a part of that.
And that's what we consider you part of the team. So I would say to you folks, and if you're planning an event and you're trying to figure out how to make your life just a little bit easier, Bob and team can do that for you. And so I want you to give some examples. Because we were just talking about the Virginia State Fair, so a shout out to Marlene Joliffe. You'll probably never see this, but shout out to Marlene. But just some of I know what you got coming up in Morgantown. Give people an example of some of the just really huge events that your company is able to produce.
Well, we are doing the regatta, which actually just got announced, I think, recently about the entertainment that's coming. We'll be producing all of that, providing all of the LED walls and everything that people get to see.
Let's just say Shaggy, if you haven't heard it yet, Shaggy.
But we do that. We do all of West Virginia State Fair concerts, Virginia State Fair concerts. I'm getting ready to, we've been working for a long time on the May commencement for WVU, which is, large.
That's a big deal.
It is. It's there's a lot going on there, and again, when people go just see the event, they don't see everything. We've been working on that since January.
Are the WVU folks as demanding as the United Way folks?
They are some of our favorite people as well, but it's really interesting to work with different personalities and different people, but it's all great.
Yeah.
I mean, all of our clients are friends. I shouldn't say that, but that's what we want.
Sure. Yep.
Because we want that close relationship. Because that way we can really get to know each other better, and I can finish a sentence for them in a technical standpoint. They come to the table and say, hey, can we do this? And it's like, yes, we can, or no, we can't. So it's just a really good opportunity. This market is amazing because it's so small. We have that opportunity to work that close with folks. But yeah, they're wonderful people. They really are, just like you folks. I'm not going to say one is my favorite,
don't.
But
I don't want to get you in trouble.
but other large events, my goodness, we've done so many concerts, presidential visits,
pageants.
The Miss USA pageant, I'm working on one now for South Carolina as well.
And maybe he brought me a rose and a crown from the Miss USA pageant. Now you know why I love him.
Maybe.
If you know, you know how much I love a crown, and so that was awesome. I can tell you, because when you say that, friends, Bob and I have literally laughed, cried, and prayed together, and that's a true story. And so he means it. When I'm about to lose all of my cool, he calms me, and hopefully I do the same instead of making it worse. But
absolutely. Yes.
We really do appreciate all the effort that you put into it. The other thing I wanted to mention, in case people are really interested in it, because events are a bear. I mean, let's just put that out there, right? If you're pushing out a gala, or if you're doing some huge, I don't even want to talk about fairs and long-term multiple days, but just as a nonprofit or a smaller business, and you're trying to push out an event, be it a fundraiser or just a conference that you want to shine and you want your company to look good, on their website is a form. It's an event form, and I found that hugely helpful, right? So people that may not be used to producing an event, it asks you all the questions that will be helpful when you meet with them to say, yes, we're going to need 3 microphones. And then Bob looks at it and goes, I think you need 5 microphones, or I need 2 big screens. And it's like, well, 4 big screens would be better. And so that's a really cool tool that's on your website.
It is. It's a really good starting point, as you said. It asks questions that sometimes people don't know they need to ask or they need answers to. So, and that is our job. We're here we always say that we're here to make you look good. And that's our job, is to help you get out of your event what it is you want out of your event, and then bring some additional stuff to the table that says, hey, we can do this and this and this that would enhance or make things easier for folks. So,
which he literally just did for us, right? So we're talking about Dancing with the Stars. We try to mix it up so people want to come back every year and it doesn't look exactly the same. Right. And so Bob comes to us and it's like, maybe we can do this lighting, or maybe we can do this in this spot. And that, because you're the expert, that's what I love, right? I don't have to know your business. I just have to know mine.
Right.
And between the two of us, you produce and create what I can try to describe to you of our vision and what we see.
That's exactly right. We get to work with so many different events and different people. We oftentimes see things that work or does not work, and then we can bring that and either let you know if you had that same idea, or it didn't work well when somebody tried it some other place, and just help you get the most out of your event, and that is, I believe that's a real big thing that we can bring to the table just from our experience. Now you say we're the expert, that's scary.
Well, you're
for
supposed
me.
to be. Yeah.
Maybe
Don't
I'm
tell me
supposed
if you're
to be.
not. I'm just looking to let it go. We're not going to talk about it. But it's a trust factor for us,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I trust you, and I think that's what I would say to anybody, considering having an event or talking to you about an event. You just can develop a trust with this organization that you've saved me money. You've told me what not to do that's going to cost me too much money for the end result, or is it worth it? And sometimes we say yes, it's worth it, and we want to do it. But
Right.
he always is kind enough to bring that to our attention and say, is that something you sure you want to spend money on, or can we do it this way a little bit cheaper?
And-
That's super important.
And we feel like that's our duty. I think you as a nonprofit, but just anybody spending money, it's easy to spend somebody else's money, but it may not be the right thing. And because we can bring that expertise to the table and say there's a cheaper way of doing this, there's a better way of doing this, or maybe there is a little more expensive way, but it is better.
Yeah, and it's going to look better and sound better and all those things.
So yeah, I think we bring a lot to the table when it comes to that.
And so on that, when you talk about spending other people's money as a nonprofit, that's our
Yes.
our stopgap right there. It's like we're never going to be spending donor dollars irrationally or without forethought. And so in our event, Dancing with the Stars, we're so fortunate that we do have a title sponsor that covers a lot of our expenses, and that's Ball Toyota. And so I will take you back 4 years or so to Ball Toyota, and COVID, right? So we're in the middle of a pandemic when people can't be around each other, and Sean Ball and his family were about to do, this was now fall, so from March till like September, October, and determined that we were going to make this giveaway happen because it was for children and the benefit of children. And we were in the great debate about how do you do that safely, and are we 6 feet apart? And Bob, literally, I kid you not, we have a ruler out and we're measuring. You remember that? We're like measuring the chairs to be 6 feet apart, doing all of the precautions. We had people wiping off the mic, so we teased Zach mercilessly because we were live streaming it, and so people all over West Virginia were watching the spraying of the mic between speakers. And so we did everything we possibly could,
Yes.
And thankfully, I believe, did a very safe presentation. But that's an example of, I don't think there's anything we could have presented to you all that you weren't able to at least try, right? You said, yes, we'll try. We don't know, but let's work at it.
Exactly.
And
Let's
that's
give it a
not
shot.
the easiest space to set up a conference in or to set up stuff. And so he comes with pipe and drape. He comes with microphones, and he comes with big screen TVs. And so don't think that you have to have multiple. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Start with you, and then see what all you bring to the table before somebody goes out and contacts 3 or 4 different organizations to get what you need. I think most of it you can do.
Yeah, we do a lot more than just microphones and screens. There's a lot, as you said, that we can bring to the table, and we also partner with a ton of people. So if it's something that's just off the wall, ask the question.
Who do you know where we get 50 more chairs in 30 minutes because we have more people coming than we thought we were going to have? And he says, "Oh, let me make a phone call." And 50 chairs appear.
Yeah.
So we did that at Ball Toyota, which then ended up being a regular event that you and I are able to do together, thanks to Sean and his family. But that also led to Inside the Huddle. So another event that we do, and we do at the Ball Family Event Center there on Patrick Street. But you understood exactly what we were talking about. We need to make Tony Caridi the star, which he is and looks great.
Yep.
But everything in that room comes together because your team knows what they're doing.
Yeah, but we take your ideas, we take your creativity. You wanted to do the tailgate party, and we're like, okay, let's integrate this into this and make it feel like a tailgate.
We need a blue light.
We need a blue light, so we had a blue light, and so those are the type things. They may be they may seem small, but when you add it all together in the event, and it all comes together, and people walk away going, wow, that was really cool. And that's what we want. That's what we want you to experience when you come to ATR. Is when you walk away, when your clients walk away, it's like that was a great event. That was a great experience.
And I can't not say what we also don't think about. So you don't think about the load in, right? Because we're over here doing our things. But I also know that people don't realize that when I walk away from you at 9:30 or 10 o'clock on Friday night to go do the after party, you and your team are there all night doing the unload, right?
Yes.
Getting everything tore back down. And
The
talk about that for a minute.
The strike and the loadout is our days are very long. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And the strike and the loadout and the crew that does that, and you know, we're there with them until the last piece of equipment goes on the truck and we roll out. Then it comes back to the warehouse and gets unloaded.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's really interesting to see the behind the scenes, and not everybody has the opportunity to do that. But not only do you not get to see it, but it's not really necessary for a lot of folks. You know,
Right.
it's we want you to focus on what you do best, and we take care of those other things. I love the idea that you're bringing it to people's attention. That's really cool, because a lot of folks don't realize
Don't
how
have
much
a
work
clue.
goes into it. But yeah, that's very long days and long nights.
And the other reason I want to bring that to the attention, and don't get mad at me because I'm going to be nice, but
Okay.
I think it's important that people understand this. Then they look at us and say, why does an event cost so much?
Yes.
So we just had this conversation, you know, as we were talking to an old friend of yours about production cameras and how much stuff costs.
Yes.
People don't understand that with that wonderful production and your professionalism and your trust and your expertise, I got to pay for that. And although you give us huge nonprofit rate and you make a personal contribution to that event for us, we're grateful. But when you add that up with the Coliseum costs and, you know, this and that, it's easy to see how
Yes.
people don't understand how an event could cost $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 to put on, and why it's so important for us to have sponsors that ensure that we're not going to lose money, right? That we're going into any event
That's exactly right.
absolutely sure that we're going to make money. And last year, you know, I can't not put that plug in, but last year with your help with Dancing with the Stars, that net was about $330,000, which still makes me cry. I will not lie.
You told me that, and I'm still to this day just in awe.
Bob was standing behind me on the dance floor when I was like, "You're lying. Somebody's lying to me.
Yes.
Y'all
Yeah.
didn't count right. Go add that again."
It was so cool to be a part of that, and all of us were surprised.
Yes.
In the end, but it was so awesome to be a part of such a successful night, and it quickly became and is the social event of the year here in Charleston. I mean,
That means a lot coming from you. You do a lot of
that we
events.
do, yes, and it was so amazing, and we still talk about it in our company today, how great it was to be a part of that, and we're looking for the same thing this year, if not more.
Oh, baby.
We're so excited to be, and the dancers you have this year, they're bringing it.
They are bringing it. So we're going to run out of time.
Yeah.
So let's end on where we started.
Yes.
So Dancing with the Stars is June the 7th. Bob has met all 6 couples. He has heard all of their very grandiose ideas on how to make their dance the very best dance possible. Yes. I can tell you that the costumes are off the hook this year, stuff I have never heard before, and all 6 couples' music. I think you've heard 4 out of the 6. I've heard all 6, but the music is stellar. You agree?
The 4 that I've heard, yes.
It's gonna be
I'm
awesome.
excited to get the other 2, but yes, and I think it's going to be a top year. I believe it's going to be a year that's going to set the bar even higher than last year.
Shoot, I don't know if my heart can take it. About didn't make it through last year, but the easiest way to find out more, and you're seeing a little bit about that now, is to go to our website. So that's unitedwaycwv.org. You can get tickets there. I can tell you that as we started the show today, we have a little less than 100 tickets left out of 1,000. 1,000 is sold out. Stop. No more can fit in there, so we have about 100 tickets left, and again, it's going to be a fabulous show. What do you think about, and I don't know if you did this before or not, but should we do some kind of like, what do you call it when you put the camera up and it runs fast through your, like the setup, so we would see the setup in
Oh,
What do you call that? Yeah.
You asked me too
I know.
fast.
Me
Yeah.
too. I know it. But you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Wonder if we should do that. That would be kind of cool thing
that
to
would,
show people.
That would be cool.
Yeah, because it would be
We should do
days.
that.
We should do that.
Yeah,
And then I have to
I'll do
talk to you
that.
about an extra red carpet camera. So this is how, folks, this is how Bob works with Margaret. It's like, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I need one more camera on the red carpet. Well, we'll talk about
And it only happens on air, so yeah, I mean,
Can't
yeah,
say
I got it.
no. I got it on tape. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience before we start to wrap things up?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity, and again reiterate how awesome it is to work with you and your team. You have a top-notch crew working with you and for you, and you do amazing things for the community. Well, we all know people in need,
That's
and it could be tomorrow for me. So I just appreciate you.
Well, we appreciate you. When we were talking about our guest and somebody said, let's do a behind-the-scenes Dancing with the Stars guest. And I'm like, oh, let's call Bob. Because when it comes to the behind-the-scenes, I don't know anybody that can tell it better than you. So thank you. We owe you and your team a great deal of gratitude, and we're very grateful that you're our partner. I'm going to take a point of privilege and just for the last minute or so remind people again about we've got one other big event that you might see behind me. This big guy Puddles the duck. And so ducks are on sale now. And you know, some people when we say we're going to drop 5,000 ducks off of the South Side Bridge, people go, how are you going to get them back? Like, won't they fly away? And so here's the really good news. They're rubber ducks, and they're not this big. They're little rubber ducks. About 5,000 of them will go off of the Southside Bridge on July the 6th as part of the West Virginia Charleston Stern Wheel Regatta. Ducks are $5 for you to adopt a duck. You can find that at the same website. We hope that you'll consider it's the absolutely most affordable way to contribute to the United Way, and that $5, I can tell you with great confidence, last year touched the lives of 83,343 people. Hear that again, 83,343 people's lives impacted in a positive way because maybe you spent $5 on a duck to support the United Way, or you bought a Dancing with the Stars ticket, or you showed up at Inside the Huddle, or maybe through your workplace campaign you do $1 a paycheck. Just know from the bottom of my heart and all those people, you make a significant difference. And we hope that we make everybody a way to donate, because we know how good it feels when you can make that contribution and you hear me and you go, oh gosh, I was one of those people who made that happen. And so we are so grateful to you. If you bought a duck last year, our theme this year is double your luck, double your ducks. So if you bought one, you should buy two this year. And if you bought 20, you should buy 40, et cetera. You get my math. So please consider doing that. Thanks again to Bob. Thanks again to Mark and the team at the Library Television Network. Until we see you again, please don't hesitate to call us ever if you need anything at the United Way. And don't forget 211. But until we meet again, I am Margaret O'Neill with the United Way of Central West Virginia. This is United for Good.